Hello everyone. In today's video, I'll be explaining you how I check students' essays. And we have an interesting topic. So the task 2 question template says, some people say that history is one of the most important school subjects. Other people think that in today's world, subjects like science and technology are more important than history. Discuss both these views and give your opinion. Give reasons for your answer. Include any relevant examples from your own experience or knowledge. Write at least 250 words. And we have an answer. We have a response by a candidate. So now I'll be showing you how I personally assess, how I personally evaluate candidates' answers in my mock tests. All right. So the subjects of school has always been a topic of heated conversation. Right. So here we have our introduction. And it says the subjects of school has always been a topic of heated conversation. If you take a look at that, the word always doesn't necessarily fit. The reason is the subjects of school haven't always been a topic of heated conversation. And we also have this grammatical mistake. So it actually has to be have always been a topic of heated conversation. So it's have always been, right? So we have a grammatical mistake and we also have this over generalization with the word always. And that's why I don't always recommend writing these background sentences because sometimes these sentences just exaggerate and really affect the not fluency, but like how clear the message is for the reader. So the subjects of school have always been a topic of heated conversation. It's saying heated conversation. So I can clearly see that this is something memorized because heated conversation is like people aren't willing to debate that much in especially when it comes to choosing the school subjects. Some people believe that studying history is the most important subject, while others, including me, argue that learning advantageous subjects such as science and IT are far more vital and interesting than history. So we have a few problems with this sentence, with the second sentence too. Some people believe that studying history, right, studying history, highlight that, studying history is the most important subject. So now basically the candidate's saying that studying history is a subject, while history in and of itself is a subject. So here we have a, well, miscommunication, I can say. So this person was not really careful while going through the essay, or maybe didn't even go through the essay at the end um, after he finished writing it. So some people believe that history is the most important subject, while others, including me, argue that learning advantageous subjects such as science and IT are far more vital. So um, another problem we have is the use of this word. Is the use of this word. So how do you know they're advantageous? So the whole point of this essay is actually to kind of give your opinion to say that these are advantageous. But now you're just saying some people believe that they have to study these advantageous subjects such as science and IT. You're now already admitting that. So where is the room for argument? There's no room for argument if you write this way. So learning subjects which seem good in today's world would be something better. Yeah. And are far more vital and interesting than history. In this essay, I will discuss both points of view and explain my own ideas. Well, this is where it gets interesting because this final sentence in and of itself is just a cliche. So let me comment on this. So this final sentence is just a cliche that should be avoided. That should be avoided while writing. Now let me explain. So the reason why I call this final sentence a cliche is because the question is asking you, discuss both these views and give your opinion. If your mom asks you, do the laundry, do you say, I will do the laundry, or do you just go and do the laundry? Of course, you just go and do the laundry. So basically, it's just like repeating what you've been told, and this is not really a good idea. However, if you just include it, you actually have included your position, like including me. By saying including me, you already included your position. That's why you don't even have to say something like this. You don't even need a thesis statement here. So you already said including me. For a good score like 6.5, maybe even 7, this is enough. You don't need anything special. You don't even need that long of a thesis statement. This is just enough. Now, moving on to the body paragraphs, we have two body paragraphs on the one hand, on the other hand, conclusion. So we have two body paragraphs and we have a conclusion. So on the one hand, majority of the population believe that all world need technology and science. Okay, we have a good transitioner, but majority of the population. Now, you're saying the population, right? The population. What population is that? What population is that? So you basically this is again bad for your CC score because you don't know what population that is. And that makes it super unclear to understand. And you're saying majority of the population believe that. It is also unnatural. And yeah, it is very unnatural. So it has two basic problems that you have to avoid. And all world, I didn't really understand what all world meant. Maybe you meant all the world, but all the world is just like a very general term. Maybe you meant to say everyone. Maybe, maybe you meant to say everyone. That would be much easier to understand if used this easier phrase. So this is mainly because gaining technological advancements are able to create more opportunity to work in manufacturers. So this is mainly because gaining technological advancements. So we're talking about gaining technological advancements. It's just one general factor, and we cannot say are, it's just is. And so we have a simple grammatical mistake. Simple grammatical mistake. So you're just meant to say is, not are. So he's able to create more opportunity to work in manufacturers. In other words, in our modern era, all companies want the employees who make the efficient of their systems. In other words, in our modern era, okay, all companies want the employees who make the efficient of their systems. No, who make. So again, we have a clause which is super unclear. So who make their systems run efficiently, maybe? But this again is just something that a normal person would not understand. So I'll try my best to actually simplify it. So employees who make their system run more efficiently. I guess this would make much more sense. This would make much more sense. So all multinational manufacturers are willing to pay to programmers a large salary. Therefore, most people are choosing to acquire the IT and science. You're not just going to acquire the IT, you're going to acquire the IT skills. IT skills, which is something that this candidate left. So IT skills, this is something you should have included because you cannot just acquire the IT. You can acquire the IT skills. And you're even using the determiner the. So yeah, the skills that has to be there. And science instead of finding out about history. For instance, in a recent study survey in Uzbekistan, so we have a little slip. In a recent survey in Uzbekistan, 70% of students are selecting for science and technology. So this final example is just a made up fact. So this final sentence, final example. So this final example is just a made up fact that will be punished by examiners. Plus, this example actually lacks evidence. What I mean by that is, it's just saying, for instance, in a recent survey in Uzbekistan, 70% of students are selecting for science and technology. But what is next? Nobody knows, you know? So it basically means nothing. Basically means nothing. And we have a mistake there actually related to the Lexis. We cannot say select force. Select is it's just select in and of itself. It's select. And you have a few options. It's select. So maybe opting for would be a better alternative. Opting for would be a much better alternative here. Because first of all, the meaning of the phrase itself does not really match with the context we have here. And it's also wrong grammatically because we never say select for. So, and the second body, on the other hand, it can be argued that history is the most important subject in schools because each student has to know about experiences, the experiences, the experiences of their ancestors. Okay, okay, the experiences of their ancestors. Some challenges and mistakes in our life can be overcome. Well, we have a classic mistake here, overcome. So it's actually uh, overcome. So can be, now we have verb three, so we actually have to say overcome. Overcome is the correct word, correct tense that you have to be using there. All right. For example, acquiring about world wars, acquiring about, maybe acquiring information about world wars, information about world wars. Um, it can be seen that every disagreement among countries can be solved by history of their own areas without fighting among each other. Well, what's the point here? What's the specific point, which is something a bit hard to understand? Um, so how can you see that every disagreement among countries can be solved by their history. So basically, this is just a sentence without any evidence. Um, so I don't really understand. Well, what's the point of this underlined sentence? There is no point, basically. So I don't really recommend doing something like that. So this sentence has no meaning, has no meaning whatsoever, has no meaning, and is not supported by anything, by anything. So that's why I don't approve of this. All right. Um, hence, history are playing. Okay, this is just not really careful. Hence, I'm not really sure if you could use it instead of just therefore. There are mistakes. If you actually don't know and you're just using the words therefore, um, hence, and thus just interchangeably, you just have to, learn or even ask AI bots to actually find you the difference. History are playing, oh my God, history is playing a crucial role in our globe, right? A crucial role, right? So, all right, in conclusion, although it's essential to study history, I'm of the opinion I'm of the opinion that it's better to acquire science and technology skills as we are living these days. So here as means because we are living these days. Because we are living these days, maybe because we are living, okay, we're living these days, maybe, maybe, maybe it was better to say something like this. We are living in a world where IT and science is developing and is in great demand. This is something that would actually make a lot of sense here. But what we got in the conclusion is just not ideal. I wouldn't approve of this. Additionally, the works become faster by using technology. Well, did you include this? This is just a new idea. Just a new idea that like your conclusion is not supposed to have any new ideas, right? So this also would actually give you a lower score. So the conclusion should not, it's not actually should not, it's must not have any new ideas. So basically, this is the essay. We just went through it. We just went through it. And I'm also going to give the candidates some idea about their scores. So there's task response. There's task response. There's task response. And then there's coherence. There's cohesion. And then there's lexical resource. And then there's grammatical range and accuracy. Grammatical range and accuracy. So the scores for that. So task response would not get a really high score. It would actually get a really low score because it doesn't make any sense. I don't really understand what's going on. And coherence cohesion, the same would happen because we have problems, a lot of problems with grammar and vocabulary. So you see, because of the problems with lexical resource, grammatical range, and accuracy, this candidate is actually going to get a really low score. So task response, because it doesn't make any much sense, I'm going to give 5. Try to give some idea, try to include all the necessary parts, but still the idea is not really clear, and there are lots of ideas which are not supported, and we also don't have a good conclusion. There is coherence cohesion. Coherence cohesion will probably get a similar score or maybe even a lower score, I would argue. The reason being that this person does not really have a good understanding of how to transition smoothly from sentences to other sentences, and many of the ideas do not really make sense. So for coherence cohesion, I would give this essay a 5 too. I would give this essay a 5 too. Well, the lexical resource seems a bit better. The lexical resource seems a bit better, although there are some mistakes, there are some problems. But the lexical resource part deserves a 6. But grammatical range and accuracy part is the most problematic part. And this part will actually get something like a 5. So this basically is the score that this person is going to get. So if there had to be an overall score, if there had to be an overall score, I would give this person a band 5. So thank you guys for watching. So this is how I personally check essays, and I hope you learned a lot from this essay, which had basically lots of mistakes that could be corrected. So thank you for watching. Have a nice one. Goodbye.